Today we're going to be working with just like fractions, adding and subtracting. So it says explain how to make each fraction computation, then follow a similar procedure for the operations with the rational expressions. So guys, on the left hand side we're talking strictly just fractions, and then we're going to use the same steps that we use for our fractions on the right hand column to do the operations with the rational expressions. So here I have 3/7 plus 2/7. So here, when denominators are alike, we're going to add the numerators and keep the bottom the same. Okay, so let's look at number 2. When I have 8 divided by 11 minus 3/11, same thing here. When the denominators are alike, we're just going to subtract the numerators and keep the bottom the same. So let's use those two rules and let's work on the operations with the rational expressions. So looking at number 1, I have 2 over x minus 4 plus x over x minus 4. So since my denominators are the same, I'm going to add my numerators and keep the denominator. So here, I'm going to have 2 plus x divided by x minus 4. Same thing on the next one. I have 2x minus 3 divided by x squared minus 1 plus 5x plus 7 divided by x squared minus 1. So my x squared minus 1s will stay the same, and I'm going to add the numerator. So when I combine like terms, 2x and 5x, I'm going to have 7x, and a negative 3 and a positive 7 combines to give me plus 4. So my answer is 7x plus 4 over x squared minus 1. So using the same concept, now we're just going to subtract. I have 2x plus 11 over x plus 6 minus x plus 9 over x plus 6. Denominator stays the same, and when I combine like terms, I get x plus 2 over x plus 6. Same thing on the next one, but the denominator is going to stay 3x squared minus 4, and when I combine like terms, I end up with negative 8x plus 10 over 3x squared minus 4. Okay, so let's look at the next one, number 3. For number 3, I have 3/8 plus 1/4. So it says sometimes to find a common denominator, you have to multiply the top and the bottom of one fraction by a common factor. So let's look. I have 5 over 3x plus x plus 1 divided by x. So in order for my denominator to be the same, what do I need to multiply my second fraction by on both top and bottom? That's right, I should multiply by 3. So when I multiply both top and bottom by 3, I still have 5 over 3x, but now I'm going to add it to 3x plus 3, and all I did was distribute the 3 over 3x. So now that my denominators are the same, now I'm going to combine like terms on the top. So I have 3x plus 8. So my answer for that one is going to be 3x plus 8 over 3x. So let's look at the next one. I have x plus 1 over 2x plus 4 minus 9 over x plus 2. So what can I multiply my denominator by on the second fraction in order to have the same denominator? That's right, I can multiply both top and bottom by 2. So here when I multiply by 2, I'm still going to have the x plus 1 over 2x plus 4. But now it's going to be minus 18 over 2x plus 4. So when I combine like terms, my denominator is still 2x plus 4. And my numerator is going to be x minus 17. Again, combining my like terms. Okay, so let's look at the last one, number 4. Okay, for number 4, I have 3/7 plus 2/5. It says sometimes to find a common denominator, you have to multiply the top and bottom by both fractions. So let's look at the first one. I have 5 over x minus 2x over 3. So in order for me to have a common denominator here, I have to multiply the first fraction by 3 over 3, and I have to multiply the second fraction by x over x. So what I end up with is 15 over 3x minus 2x squared over 3x. So now that I have a common denominator, my 3x is my denominator, and I'm going to leave the 15 minus 2x squared alone because they cannot be combined as like terms. And that's where I get that answer from. Okay, so let's look at the next one. I have 4 over x plus 3 plus 7 over 2x minus 1. So what do you think we're going to multiply both fractions by? The easiest way to find a common denominator is take my 2x minus 1 and multiply it by both top and bottom of my left-hand fraction then take the x plus 3 and multiply it by top and bottom of my right-hand fraction. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing in the numerator is I'm going to distribute the 4. So I have 8x minus 4. And go ahead and leave the denominator in parentheses. And we'll go and FOIL in a minute. So again, my denominator is still staying the same of 2x minus 1 and x plus 3. And my numerator here, I'm going to distribute the 7. So I'm going to have 7x plus 21. So now I combine my like terms in the numerator. And so I have 15x plus 17. And then I'm going to FOIL out the denominator, which is where I get 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay, so let's look at the next page. It says use the factorization to find the least common multiple for each pair of numbers. So here I have 24 and 36. So my least common multiple, I have 2 times 2 times 2 because there's 3 2's. And then I have 3 times 3 because there's 2 3's. So when I multiply that out, I get 72. So let's look at 28 and 30. Here my least common multiple is going to be 420. So it says the two brothers want to look exactly alike, but don't want to take away any of their own facial features. What could each add to his own face to make them look identical? What would Fred need to add? If we added a beard to Fred and a hat, then Ted would need glasses and a bow tie, and then they'd be identical. Okay, so here what we're going to do, it says add or subtract each set of rational expressions by finding a common denominator. Okay, so it says it may help to factor the denominators first. So let's look at problem number 1. Okay, so in problem number 5, I have 2x over x plus 2 plus x minus 11 over x squared minus 4. Now the hint tells us it may help us to actually factor out the denominators first. So let's go ahead and do that. My first fraction is going to stay the same. X plus 2 cannot be factored. However, my denominator of x squared minus 4 is a difference of squares, and I can factor it into x minus 2 and x plus 2. So what I need to figure out in order to have a common denominator is what I'm missing. So here I have an x plus 2 and an x plus 2 in both of my denominators. I have an x minus 2 over here. I need an x minus 2 on this side. Now remember, whatever I multiply on the bottom, I also have to multiply in the numerator. Okay, so from here, I'm going to multiply out by distributing the 2x. Okay, so here I'm going to have 2x squared minus 4x. And I'm going to go ahead and leave my denominator still as x minus 2 and x plus 2. Okay, then I have plus the x minus 11 stays the same, and again my denominator is going to stay the same as well. So now that I have the numerator, or excuse me, now that I have the denominator the same, I can do what I did in the front page, and I'm going to combine my like terms. So my denominator stays the same, and I'm going to combine my like terms. So here I have 2x squared. I don't have anything to combine with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and write it as 2x squared. I am going to combine my minus 4x and my plus x, and I'm going to get a minus 3x. And then last, I have the minus 11 that's going to finish the quadratic. And so my last step, my numerator, I'm going to rewrite, and then I could go ahead and rewrite my denominator as x squared minus 4. Okay, so let's look at question number 6. Okay, question number 6 says I got x plus 6 over x squared plus 7x plus 12 minus 5 over 2x plus 8. So remember, the first thing we said we were going to do is factor our denominators. So x plus 6 stays the same, and my denominator is going to be x plus 4 and x plus 3. And in the second denominator, I'm going to factor out a 2, so I have 2 parentheses x plus 4. So again, we both have an x plus 4, so I don't have to do anything there. I have an x plus 3 on the left-hand side, so I need to have an x plus 3 on the right-hand side. Now remember, whatever I multiply by the bottom, I've got to multiply by the top. And then the one thing I don't want you guys to forget is I have a 2 here. So if I have a 2 here, I got to multiply both top and bottom by a 2. Okay, so again, we're going to leave our denominator the same, and we'll go back and factor it at the end. So here, my common denominator is going to be 2x plus 4, x plus 3. And I'm going to distribute the 2 in this numerator. So I have 2x plus 12. Then I have minus, I'm going to distribute the 5 up top. So I have 5x plus 15. And again, leaving my denominator unfactored. Okay, so now we're going to combine like terms. So here, I've got my 2x and my minus 5x. So when I combine, I'm going to have a negative 3x. And then I'm going to combine my positive 12 and my minus 15. So I'm going to have a minus 3. And again, all of that over my denominator. And again, the last step is going to be to go ahead and FOIL out your denominator. So once I FOIL 2x plus 4, x plus 3, I end up with 2x squared plus 14x plus 24. Okay, so let's look at the very last problem, problem number 7. Okay, question number 7, I have an x plus 3 over x squared plus 6x plus 8 plus 9 divided by x squared minus x minus 6. So again, we're going to factor our denominators. So I have x plus 3, and here I'm going to have x plus 4 times x plus 2. And we're going to add it. The numerator stays the same. And here I'm going to have x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, so again, I have x plus 2 on both sides, so we're good to go there. I have an x plus 4, and I need an x plus 4 on my right-hand side. So again, whatever I do to the denominator, I've got to do to the numerator. And I also have a x minus 3, so I'm going to multiply my denominator and my numerator by x minus 3. Okay, so again, leaving the denominator the same, I have x minus 3, x plus 4, x plus 2. And now we can combine our like terms. So this numerator, we're going to go ahead and FOIL out. So I have x squared, and it's going to be a plus 3x minus 3x, so they're going to cancel. So I have x squared minus 9. And again, my denominator is still the exact same thing. And we're going to distribute the 9 in the numerator. So I have 9x plus 36. Okay, so my last step is going to be to combine my like terms. So I have x squared plus 9x plus 27. And again, my denominator staying the exact same. X minus 3, x plus 4, and x plus 2. Now you can go ahead and FOIL those out if you would like, or you can go ahead and leave it just like this. Okay, so you guys will use these notes in order to answer the next 8 questions, which we'll do in class tomorrow. Go ahead and try and start the first few questions. That way, whenever I ask, you guys will have questions for me to answer.